Local and live, covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk Tri-State with Tiny and Katie.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Tri-State, powered by Home Right Windows and Doors in Waynesboro, the right choice winner in the 2024 Best of the Tri-State Awards.
From Teflon Roofing, we have Jason Morris back with us again. How you doing?
Good, excellent to be here. Thank you guys.
How's the roofing business going?
Slowly.
I bet.
Yeah.
But you got it covered.
Yeah, we burn a lot of money in the wintertime.
Yeah.
We burn through a lot of cash flow, unfortunately, but you know, it's going to be quality above everything else. And a lot of roofing companies really doesn't bother them too much, but it's not our cup of tea. Like the first, 4 or 5 years I installed, I actually did it with my bare hands. That way, kind of learn all the ins and outs of all the roofing systems, things like that. And from the things that I saw, I don't want my name put on anything that gets installed in the wintertime unless it's a lifetime product.
Okay.
Shingles, like you're going to lose granules. I don't care what the manufacturers say. I've seen it firsthand, and I wouldn't put it on my house in the wintertime. So if I'm not going to do that, I'm obviously, you know, there's exclusions to that. We got 2 of them coming up next week that we're going to have to make exclusions for just because it needs to be done right now. But I give the homeowner the option. I tell them, hey, if it was my house, this is what I would do. And I'd say 90-95% of the time they go with the recommendation and wait till March, April until it warms back up.
If they can wait, sure, why not?
Yeah.
What about repairs? Is it the same caveat for repair jobs when it comes to this time of year?
No. Yeah. It really doesn't matter. Like, the only thing that really sucks is if we ever get snow in South Central PA ever again, which I want some just because I have a 5-year-old and I want to go outside and have fun with him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, when you have a repair, like if you put off repairs, you're looking at mold damage, you're looking at plywood, possibly drywall. So that's something that has to be handled pretty immediate.
At the very least, let's do what we have to do to get you by until.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's normal. Like a lot of the contracts, I think we had 13 contracts that were sold in December or January last year. And probably I'd say about half of them, we either did a small repair or put a tarp over a specific area just so there's no more damage that occurs until we can get the installation done.
That's what I like about your company, Jason, is that people don't want to buy a new roof if they don't have to. And I think a lot of times whenever there is something wrong with the roof, that's what you're immediately thinking. I'm going to call a roofing company and they're going to say the whole thing needs to be replaced.
Yes.
But if you don't have to, you know, repair it. Do what you can to sustain the life of it because it is not a cheap fix to put on a new roof.
Well, and I look at it probably different than a lot of people. That's why we're trying to stay a little bit smaller because the more people you add, the more people that paycheck depends on them actually selling the roof compared to, you know, if you have 3 to 5 years left on your roof, an average roofing company is going to try to get you to replace the roof at the time, whereas like we come out, I say, hey, this is what you have going on. You know, we can do a repair right now, which we're not going to make anything off of. But that's not the point. The point is to build the trust, build the rapport, build the, hey, he's going to be at his Christmas party and be like, hey, look at what these guys did. That way, 5-10 years down the line, when they go and they need a roof, we're automatically going to be one of the ones they call, if not the only company that they call because we were transparent with them when we originally came out.
Well, this works out well for me personally that you're here today. I would like to get some personal advice from you about a roof situation that I'm in.
Okay.
And get ahead of it, if possible. I'm looking into buying a house.
Okay.
It is an older home. It was built in the early 1900s, and it has a slate roof. It is the original slate roof. Now, this is something I'm not super familiar with, but from what I've seen in the research, those roofs can last up to 200 years. Would that be an accurate statement?
I wouldn't say 200, but 100 to 150 years if it is maintained.
Okay.
And that's the difference. Like a lot of the slate roofs, we have a lot in Chambersburg, and we get calls. I'd probably say 5 to 6 every single year. And my first question is, are you looking to preserve the slate roof? And if you are, you need to call a slate specialist.
Okay.
Do not let just a regular roofing company on there. And if they say, hey, yeah, we do slate repair, ask for proof of concept. Show me the slate repairs that you have done on properties because slate does last a long time, but it is really easy to mess up. And if you get up there and you start banging other pieces of slate up, now instead of needing to repair, you're looking at a full roof replacement. And if you have a slate roof, you could probably add close to $10,000 on top of a normal roof cost just because the slate has to come off and then you have to actually put plywood back down on the roof because 95% of all the slate roofs that exist, they don't have any plywood underneath them. So
Now, when I did the home inspection on this particular house, when we were up in the attic, the guy who was doing the home inspection did show me that there were areas where there is light peeking through the roof.
Okay.
Now he didn't seem overly concerned about it, but he did say I would definitely get somebody out here to look at it.
Yes.
Now with something like that, if there are different areas where there is light peeking through, does that immediately signal new roof, or is there a way that you can repair
I
it?
would always, if I had a slate roof that was still in good shape, I would 100% try to preserve it. It is a little concerning that you have spots of light coming through. I would question whoever the previous owner was just to see their maintenance and what they have done along the way. But light shining through the roof is definitely, if you can see light, there's going to be water getting down inside of it. You know what I mean?
Now, you don't, do you guys do slate insulation?
No.
Okay. But you could still look at it for me?
Yes.
Okay.
I can inspect it and tell you, I mean, we could do it, but if you're going to preserve it, you definitely want, there's a company out of Frederick, and there's another one in Carlisle. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but those are definitely the people that you want to talk to if you have to do a slate repair.
I didn't realize it was so specialized.
Well,
It is.
That's good information to know.
Yeah.
And why is that?
That is a good question. I think it's just more of the experience factor. You know what I mean? Because it's totally different than climbing on a regular roof. Like they have furring strips that are up there, and then the roof rafters that are covered with everything. And a regular piece of slate is about 18 to 21 inches, depending on the manufacturer you get it from. But there's only like 6 to 8 inches of that piece of slate that's actually going to be revealed on the roof. So there's a lot of coverage area, knowing where to nail it properly, and then if you've ever seen any videos online, which if you guys have phones in your pockets right now, I'm sure if you get on YouTube or any social media platform, you're probably going to see videos now that I'm going to mention it. That's kind of an acquired skill.
Yeah, I think everybody does that.
It's an acquired skill. Like when you're chipping slate down to make the pieces fit and everything, that's not something that you're going to learn overnight.
And
You know
is
what I
that
mean?
is that a more expensive roof because
yeah.
of the length of the?
Well, and slate's expensive as well
Okay.
too. And you're looking a conventional roof, you're probably 5 times the much, or it's going to take 5 times longer to install a slate roof than what a conventional roof is.
Could you, here's an interesting question, and this might be a silly question, but again, I'm not a roof specialist. Could you take off slate from a slate roof and then install a different kind of roofing?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what we do. We'll do the slate removal, but as far as installing a new slate roof, like there are so many better, in my opinion, better and cheaper options that are going to last that long. Like if you
Okay.
get a tilt core metal shingle or even standing seam roofs, if you take care of them as they age, you're going to have no issues, and they will last 100 years.
What do you do when you get in this situation? And again, I'm just thinking about my personal experience that's happening to me right now. You're in a duplex, and there's issues with the roof, and the roof needs to be replaced. Both parties have to agree on the replacement on the roof, right?
If it's slate or cedar shake, I mean, you can have a company come out and only replace half the roof, but you're just asking for problems.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Even if you have a shingle roof, we get a lot of row homes sometimes, and people call, and I absolutely despise it unless your neighbor's doing it, because that's just an unnecessary leak point. Like if you're in a row home and it's not already separated, now I'm tying into the neighbor's roof. You know what I mean? And I'm creating an extra spot where water can actually get down inside the house, and I'm not a fan of that at all. But I mean, obviously, you know, we're going to do any roof that comes our way.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's
Yes,
just
you
kind of
are.
like, it stresses me out a little bit every time I see that. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I can understand.
Yeah.
What is the reasoning? And you said that the removal of the slate roof incurs more cost. What's the reason for that?
One is the weight. This is very, very heavy,
Yeah.
very heavy. So you're probably looking, I'd probably say 3 times as much
Labor.
disposal
People.
fee. It really depends on the people that are tearing it off. Like when I was doing it, like I'm super fast at tearing off slate and cedar shakes, because I get 2 hammers and just and go to town on it. But at the same time, you got to be more careful, because one of those pieces of slate fall down, whatever it hits, it's going to damage.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? So you have to be careful in that.
Now, I appreciate you, because I know that yesterday when I had my inspection and they were talking about the roof, I said, well, I know exactly who to call to look at it, because A, there was concern of whoever you call, they're going to say, you're going to need a new roof. You're going to need a new roof. And I said, well, I actually know a very reputable company that really pushes the fact that if we can preserve it, we're going to.
Yep.
So I appreciate you in advance for helping me with this through this situation, because I can imagine that when someone is looking into buying a home, it's been about 7 years since I bought a home, but the roof was immaculate on my house that I own now. There was no issues with it. But that is one area that you really want to make sure it's intact, it's in good shape as you're moving forward in the purchase of a home.
And I need to, not to get, well, it's not even getting off topic. Home inspectors, I know several of them. And there's a lot of really good home inspectors out there. But even they aren't certified roofers. Right. You know what I mean? So it's becoming more and more apparent that the insurance companies are really buckling down. And there's two things that I want to address here. One is when the home inspector comes out and does the inspection, homeowners need to be aware that if your roof is over 15 years old, your insurance company may make you replace that.
That's, I just went through that with
and
my
the
house.
home inspector isn't, he's not going to tell you that. That is not his job. You understand what I'm saying? His job is to make sure the foundation, the hot water heater, everything is intact, the roof looks decent. Most home inspectors fly drones up on a roof, and I don't blame them at all, but people really need to consider getting a roofer to come out and do a proposal on the roof to review everything, make sure everything's intact, and then give you a life expectancy that's left. Because like I said, those insurance companies are not playing any more games any longer.
And you know it's funny you say that, because when I called my insurance company, they very specifically said insurance companies are cracking down on the roof. You need documentation, because it's an old roof and there wasn't a lot. And they said you have to have it. This is not just a my company thing. It's a nationwide thing that they're really cracking down on that. But
and the second thing that I want to address, because this just happened to us, this was about 3 weeks ago, storm claims, restoration claims. It kind of ties in with the 15-year thing, because if we have a hailstorm that comes through, and companies will be at your door ready to knock in a heartbeat, and even though they tell you you have hail damage, that doesn't necessarily you're going to get your whole roof replaced. We ran into one in Chambersburg 3 weeks ago. He had somebody come knock on his door, and they did have previous hail damage in the last 2 years, but it was only one plane of his roof. So now you run into the issue, if you file that claim and the insurance company would have came out, they would have repaired, or they would have replaced the little 4-square area that he had on his house, but that was only 20% of his roof. You know what I mean? So he would have been out of pocket another $8,000 to $10,000. And if he would have had them, okay, well, we're only going to do this roof plane. Okay, they come out, do that roof plane. Well, the next letter that's going to be from the insurance company is your roof is over this amount of age. You need to replace it, or we're dropping your coverage. You know what I mean? So people really need to be a little bit more aware of what's going on their property, especially when it comes to the roof. Keep aware of the weather elements. If there is any type of hail that has been reported in the area, call a local roofing company, and don't let some storm knocker knock on your door, because you're just asking for problems. A lot of roofing companies are popping up where people aren't educated in the roofing systems, just because it's such an easy business to start, you know what I mean? And all you need is some software to tell you where all the hail damage is. I'm going to send some guys into this area. We're going to get a roof approved and start making a whole bunch of money. And
well, Jason, we're going to have you back after you take a look at Katie's roof.
Yep, we'll have an update.
We'll get that information out to you, and wouldn't think of anybody else but Jason.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Jason.
If you'd like to be featured on an upcoming episode of Let's Talk Tri-State, call 717-597-9200 or email letstalk@921thegoat.com.